Good morning, I'm Kathryn. Welcome to my making adventure. Today is January 3rd and I'm going to be working on my fourth cast on for the 12 cast ons make along hosted by Ange of Yarn and Yarns. So thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to be casting on a blanket. The pattern is by Purl Soho. I'm going to have trouble remembering the name. I think it's called the 4 Points Baby Blanket. And I'm not really following the pattern, but I'm following the pattern. So it is the knit version of the pattern. The pattern calls for, I think, like fingering weight or sport weight yarn. And 4 different colors. And I'm using bulky weight yarn, all in one color. Excuse me. So I have a basket full of this. It's Wool Ease Thick and Quick. And I had previously thought that it would be good for making myself a sweater. And I did crochet myself a sweater out of this and it didn't move. It was like as stiff. I don't even know. It was so stiff. So it wasn't a good match. So I decided to try to make it into a blanket. So yesterday I actually did do a little swatch. This side of the swatch is on US 11 needles. And then that was feeling still pretty dense. Like I was even stretching it to see like when it blocks out, what will it be like? And I still felt like it was a little bit thick. So I switched to 13 needles after the yarn overs, and I think that that's a better gauge. This little swatch is about 400 stitches because it's 20 stitches by 20 rows, and it weighs 25 grams. And I used that to calculate for my 1600 grams of yarn that I have enough yarn to cast on 80 stitches. And that is what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to start with a big ball. Some of the balls are bigger and some are smaller. And I better make sure I start with enough yarn for 80 stitches. So that's 20. Oh yeah, I would not have started with enough. Hopefully that's enough. Okay. Here we go. And I'm just doing a long tail cast on. It's really simple. The blanket is just knit, and then it's kind of, I think you would call it modular. So you knit, and as you knit, you decrease, and then you essentially knit a triangle. And then you pick up stitches, as many as you had. So like, once I'm done with this triangle, I'll pick up along one of the sides. I'll pick up 80 stitches, just like I'm casting on 80 stitches. And then you knit another triangle, and then you go around. So the 4th triangle will be the trickiest part. This first one will be the easiest, and I think triangles 2 and 3 will be equally easy. I liked the idea of doing something like this rather than just like a corner to corner blanket because the yarn is so heavy, and I wanted to give the blanket like a little bit of structure. I thought like it is gonna be a heavy blanket. The yarn is heavy, and I was worried that like corner to corner would kind of get out of shape because of the weight of the yarn. So like even when I was knitting it, the weight of the blanket would pull on it, especially once I got past halfway. So I thought this offered like kind of like an in-between in terms of ease. I knew I wanted an easy project. In terms of ease, something, I knew I wanted something easy, but I also wanted it to have a little bit more structure. So hopefully I can make it work. I'm a little bit nervous about like running out of yarn at the last minute or having like a bunch of yarn left over. So hopefully it'll work out. I don't know what I would do if I ran out. I'll try to weigh it again after my first triangle is done and kind of gauge my progress. So that I don't waste all my time. I don't know, this is going to be a little bit boring, which is great. I have a friend coming over this morning and we're just gonna catch up. And so I like having a boring project. I could like, you know, work on one of my other projects I already have started, and maybe I will. But I knew I wanted to cast on this blanket. Actually, I was hoping to do it yesterday, but last night when I was sitting down to, like right before I was gonna sit down to cast it on, I noticed I had made a mistake in my cardigan that I was working on, and I needed to rip it back and like, you know, put the needles back in and make sure everything was situated right. And I didn't know when I would get to do it if I didn't do it at that time. Okay, I'm gonna count again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 27, 28. That's 40. 2, 4, 6, 8, 52. Okay, so it's been about half an hour. My girls have gotten up, gotten ready for the day. They're gonna go, their dad's gonna go start breakfast with them, and I'll show you what I've done so far. I'm using my tail to mark the front, the right side right now. So here's the right side. Oops. Here's the right side. I've done 4 rows, cast on, and 4 rows. It's a 2-row repeat. There's only 1 stitch difference between the 2 rows. And it's getting smaller. So I do know this is gonna be harder on my hands than knitting with lighter weight yarn. Even with this, like the big needles, the heavy yarn, it's just different than what I'm used to. So I'll have to take it slow. I'm gonna bring it downstairs with me today and work on it more today, but I think I might just like leave it up here for bedtime knitting, like when I'm getting the girls ready for bed. In general, that might be its spot, I guess, if you will. So yeah, that's a pretty good start before 8 a.m. for a new cast on, and I'll keep you posted throughout the day today how it goes. Good afternoon. My friend who came over this morning let me knit while we chatted, but before she came, I attempted to make little progress keepers, and I'm just gonna, I showed you some of my work, so they are baked now. This one is supposed to look like a ball of yarn. And this one is supposed to look like a turtle. It's really hard to show. And I did one with a number 4 on it for my 4th cast on. If you can see that. So I just have purple clay and these, like, I don't remember, eye pins. And then I put them on. I put it on a lightning bulb, a light bulb stitch marker to be a little progress keeper. This is the progress on my blanket. So quite a few rows, especially since, you know, there's a lot of stitches on the needles right now. That's how much it's decreased already though. Just a minute, please. So pretty good progress. I'm gonna give my hands a little break because it is hard to use this. Say hi to my cat Scout. Hard to do that with the bulky yarn. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 16 rows so far. So I think I'm gonna switch projects and give my hands a little break. But I'll probably make some more progress today and update you one more time at the end of the day. But I think that's all for now. All right, I am going to show you my update on my 4th cast on and talk a little bit about the progress. So, this is how much I have knit on it today. This is the side where the decreases are happening. I was gonna count how many stitches I had on the needles, but then I hit play. So I started with 80 and I've decreased. I'm probably close to 65 stitches. Try not to poke myself in the eye with the needle. I did like switch out yarn. You can see my ends, they're in the same row. I wove them in as I went. So they just need trimmed. I have not woven in my beginning end, but that's something I wanted to do because I know I won't enjoy doing that later. But I also don't want it in the way when I'm doing like the modular part of it, bringing the different pieces together. So this is turning out to be quite big, and now I'm worried that I cast on too many stitches. But I think I'm like, I was trying to calculate. I am probably like 1/4 of the way through the yarn that is allocated for this section of the blanket. However, I'm doing the longer rows, right? Like all the rows get smaller. My rows are already like 15 stitches smaller. And every row is just going to get smaller and smaller. So I'm not too worried about it yet. But I'm still a little worried. For sure, I will check on my yarn situation when I finish this first triangle part of the blanket, because that will be an easy time to weigh everything and see where we're at. I don't know, maybe I'll just only get 2 sections of the blanket or 3 sections of the blanket done. And it'll be like a shawl, a very heavy shawl, because this is already heavy. My hands are so tired. I mean, I love making progress. Like every time I get to knit 2 together, I'm like, yes. But also it's going to be nice to have another, like a day off to work on it, not work on it tomorrow. So, yeah, that's my update there. I'm really glad that I went up to the 13s and I did not stick with the 11s. These are 9mm needles because it's plenty. Like, it's not too loose of a gauge at all. So yeah, I think that is the end of this whip. The end of this, not whip. Obviously, it's not the end of the whip. There's a lot left to do on it. That is the end of this cast on. Thank you for watching, and I'm excited to figure out what I'm going to cast on next. I think I have a plan, but then I might have just changed my mind, so we'll see. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'm excited to continue casting on something else, hopefully tomorrow, maybe on Monday. God bless. Bye.